let's talk about the perfect tee height for driver, fairway woods, hybrids, and when we hit an iron off the tee, irons also. Straight into it, let's talk about driver. Now, a lot of people will kind of have their comfort levels at which they tee up driver. Now, I generally tee it pretty low, but if I was ever going to teach somebody for the first time they hit it, I'd like to see half the ball roughly above the face. So I put my club down here now, I can see roughly half a ball above the face, and from this angle here, half a ball above the face also. And what this does is this increases our opportunity of hitting this ball on the up if we have a good ball position too. If we tee it down, it gets a little bit more inviting, so chances are we're going to hit down a little bit more, maybe catch off the bottom, increase that amount of spin. Teeing that ball high, hopefully we catch that ball roughly just above the sweet spot to reduce the amount of backspin, create that higher launch and low spin to actually maximise distance. So for me, if I was going to tee this ball up for a long bomb shot, I would definitely tee this ball up half a ball above the club face, if not a little bit higher. Potentially for my stock shot, I would tee it a little bit lower. Just that's kind of my way I found which works best for me. Now, what I would say is, on these kind of guidelines that we're talking about here, you may change these rules to fit you. Adopt them yourself, find out what works for you. My high bomber, half a ball above the face. My more stock shot, a little bit lower teed down. Right, let's hit this driver to begin with. So this is my version of my long bombed one. I've got the ball, half ball above the club face, teed up. A little bit like that. Let's move on to 3-wood. Now on to the 3-wood. Now, I like to tee this ball up. So if I tee this up now, I've got this tee roughly just above the ground. So I can see that this golf ball, again, I've got about a quarter of the ball above the face. So you'll see that in this close-up view now. I've got about a quarter of the ball above the face. I often feel that there's a balance between 3-wood. You don't want to tee up too high that you feel you've got to hit it on the up too much like a driver, but also don't want to tee it too low as you feel that you've got to get it out the ground. I like to feel it's that tee height which is a perfect swooshing and sweeping tee height. So the example I always use is if you could place it in the, and you're placing it in the winter or placing it into the rough, it's teed up on a nice little bit of tufty grass. Give yourself that version with the tee peg when you're teeing it up on the tee. Right, we're teed up. Feel like I'm going to brush this one off the ball. Bottom of the arc happens as I hit the ball. Smooth in transition. Just like that. Let's get on to hybrid. Moving on to hybrid. Now, there are several different ways. You actually see a lot of people when they get a hybrid or their driving irons out, they actually just kind of mark the ground like that. Now, I'm not a big advocate of that. I like to actually tee this up, very similar to how I would tee up the 3-wood actually. Imagine you're positioning that tee just on a bit of a tuft of grass. So it's just literally, imagine it's on a perfect line on the fairway. That is exactly how I'd tee the ball up with a hybrid. Again, feeling like there's a quarter of the ball just above the face. And again, feeling like now with a hybrid though, I want to feel like I'm hitting this more like an iron. My feeling now would be that I'm going to try and hit it like a long iron. Search that divot just past the tee peg. Like that. Let's get on to the mid irons. Now, a lot of people when they're playing on a par 3, some people just throw this golf ball down. Now, I feel if you can use a tee, then use it. Make the game a little bit easier for ourselves. So I've got my 7-iron here. When I tee the 7-iron up, I like to feel very similar to how I had the 3-wood and the hybrid. I've got just a bit of the tee peg, so the wide of the tee peg above the ground. So the version, if you had a plastic castle tee, would probably be like the green or the red. Just that little bit of help. So I'd roughly say a finger width there. So my little finger width of the tee above the ground, just to give you that little bit of help, but not too high, which is going to increase your chance of getting it high in the face. Just enough to give you that little bit of help. And again, imagine, use this analogy, but if you could tee it and place it on a fairway, imagine the tee peg is doing the same thing for you. A little bit like that. generally with the short specialist wedges, I wouldn't tee the ball up. For me personally, I feel like I'm going to hit under the ball a little bit too much. That may be a psychological thing, it may be a technical thing, but I found in the past I don't react well to the short irons being teed up. And I found that for just some experience. So I'm going to leave that part open to you, for you to give me a comment down below to whether you're going to tee up your specialist short wedges. I personally don't. Let me know what you do down below. So thank you for watching, guys. Down here at turn, we're talking about the tee heights with your driver, 3-wood, hybrid, mid-irons, and whether you do it with your short irons or not. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give all this content a thumbs up.